Hi everyone and welcome back. So coming back to our actual implementation, what we want is Lambda should be able to do a read, write, all these operations, right? So what we are going to use as AWS SDK so that programmatically we should be able to access the other resources. Like we are going to write Node.js code, we want to access DynamoDB. So what we will use, we will use AWS SDK and we are using Node.js. So it's like an npm module which you need to install. I mean, if you are already working on to this, then it's very easy. You just need to do an AWS SDK install. If you install it as an npm module, then you can actually access the DynamoDB or SQS, SNS, any of the AWS resource, and then rest all is your code. So here we are getting AWS SDK directly from the like DynamoDB from the AWS SDK. Now we are creating DynamoDB client object, then list tables, put, get, all these operations we can do on the DynamoDB. So similarly, what we did is there are various options available. So we will take a look onto this snippet. What we are doing is we are actually requiring AWS SDK on the Lambda line 1. Then we got the DynamoDB object. With the help of this DynamoDB object, it exposes all these methods, put, scan, get. Using this, we can actually get the data, create the record in DynamoDB, and rest all code is Node.js code we are writing, just wrapping it in the try catch so that if any error occurs, we will return 500 from the Lambda. And here in this parameter, the table name, we have the store item, whatever the item you are going to put. So it's like whatever the item we are getting from the body, otherwise initialize it with empty, and then put the key which is unique. You can actually generate it from the UUID v4. So there are libraries which will help you to generate this unique key, or you can actually create a random digit and assign it to the key. Key should be a partition key and should be unique. Coming to our Lambda, so this is just the glimpse of the code which we will be writing. We are going to use AWS SDK. You can also look into this. This is actually npm module. Okay, and what all components, I mean, you can access all the AWS services after installing this, like AWS SDK global. And let's go to documentation. Getting started. What? So it is like this: API reference, developer guide. Yeah. So here you can see we directly got the DynamoDB client. Now DynamoDB client, you can specify the reason also in the constructor, and here you can call all these methods: send, put, scan, list tables. Okay, similarly all the other AWS services, like I want to just access the SQS client. What I did is I got the SQS client, and now I created a client object and this parameter. Now you can actually push the message to the SQS. All these things this client can do, and there can be another client object which will be reading the message from the SQS queue, right? So this is what you will be using when you want Lambda to read write to SQS or any other component who wants to access SQS programmatically. All the components are available. Consider that I want to do something with the S3, right? I can create a S3 client, and I wanted to do upload, read, all these things. So we should be able to see something. Troubleshooting. Okay, copy object command, upload, delete bucket command. See this? I mean, put object, delete object, all these commands are there, and you will be using AWS SDK for it. It's like a new documentation looks like. Here what we need to do every time we have to get the client. Here it's a S3 client. which we are getting, and this S3 client we are getting from AWS SDK. Now with the help of this client, you can do a put, you can do a get, all the methods which S3 is exposing, which is like get, put, lot of methods are there. I mean, lot of operations, whatever you can do on the S3 object. Okay, same thing we are doing here. We are doing a Dynamo DB, which we are getting from the same way, and doing a dot put. So similarly, you can do dot get, dot scan, all these methods on the Dynamo DB. Okay, let's see if we have written this code, and this file is nothing but converting a response and giving us something like this. Okay, if I try to execute this and try to see, because we already have a Dynamo DB, we haven't specified here currently the region and all, but that should be fine. And I try to deploy this and test this, then you can see that we are getting this kind of error. Here DynamoDB error, please check out the logs. And here if you try to see the logs, execution update, so this is the error custom error response it is throwing because it is coming in the error block. So if I just try to print the console.log error, then you will see what exact error we are getting. I will deploy this lambda and I will test this again, and once we test it, we should be able to see this error coming, whatever the error we are getting. So here you can see our lambda is not authorized. So this is because of we don't have, this lambda doesn't have a IAM role which has access to the DynamoDB. So if we try to see the assigned role to this lambda, function create action view detail, here which I try to change the role of this lambda. Let me try to see that. Okay. So we can all resources, this is the resource based policy. Okay, yeah, sorry, take me some time. So this role we were checking. So what we can do is, let's see, view the lambda role, and we can actually remove this lambda policy. What this lambda policy is saying, so this is sample table, right? So our table is different now. Table is store, right? We can give a try. If we can edit this, so this is a ARN of the resource, right? So what is the ARN of resource in our case? We'll go to DynamoDB, open this in the new tab, and here we will just try to see. Okay, I think we were in the same region, create table. We already have this table, and here we will get a ARN of this resource. Copy this. Save changes. CloudWatch, don't worry about that. So here review policy, save changes. Now we have given appropriate access. I mean, we just updated the same role. Now if you just try to see this, Okay, one or more parameter value missing the key ID in the items. Okay, at least now we are not getting execution role error, right? Status code 500. So key ID, if I just, so this is the unique key, and here is our DynamoDB table, and here we have already defined ID, right? So let's put ID, because the partition key is already decided. Rest all, whatever the dump, whatever you want to dump, you can put it. Like I want to put some body also, body having some payload object. That's it. This should also be fine. I'm deploying it, and here we can test it. Type mismatch, key ID expected string actual number. Okay, that is correct. And also let's change it to 5. Deploy this and test it. Okay, finally we see some success. I mean, this is all about what data you are sending to the DynamoDB. I was just trying to do the dump dummy data, so it should be of type string, because ID, the partition key, primary key is decided, right? So we should follow that constraint. Body, you can keep dumping anything you want apart from that. So here the records, you can see the second record we have created, and if you just try to refresh this, you should be able to see the updated data. And here you can see there is a body, and we have the type JSON object it is storing, right? ID is 5. So similarly, now you can, whatever data you are getting from the body, you can actually dump it directly, and this is how you are actually updating the data in the Dynamo, right? So with this small piece of code, we are able to write to the DynamoDB. So similarly, we can also do get, put, update, delete, all these operations in the DynamoDB. So I will do is I will create separate lambdas, and we will see how it is going to work. Okay, thanks everyone.